All right. Well, good morning, folks. This is Manny Rodriguez here on Tacobout It Live with Frank and Manny. And if you notice, I'm here solo this morning. Frank is actually on his way to San Antonio. He's going to be there this evening, I believe, at Blanco Barbecue there on Blanco Road around 6:30 p.m. With a meet and greet. If you're able to go down there or up there from here, or if you're in the San Antonio area in that district, the District 23 area, go over there and meet him, talk with him. You know, he's going to be over there this evening, I believe, 6:30 p.m. at Blanco Barbecue on Blanco Road. And I haven't actually been there before, but I hear it's pretty good. So a little plug for them. But Frank will be there at 6:30 p.m. tonight. And again, right now he's on his way to San Antonio. So sorry about that. We weren't here last week. Both of us were out, and so we apologize for that as well. I want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning. And again, just thank you so much for your support, for watching the program. We really truly enjoy doing what we do. Frank is again on his way to San Antonio to have a meet and greet this evening. On his way, he was putting up some signs, and he went live for a little bit. I guess he witnessed an event over there where like a bailout or something like that. So he was live just a few minutes ago. He may be still live broadcasting it right now as well. But seems to he's always able to find some stuff going on, especially in regards to what's happening here on the border. Folks, this border invasion is still ongoing. We don't want you to think that it has ended. We continue to bring and mention the border invasion on every episode and just every opportunity we get when we come on camera or do our broadcast or any other time when we feel it's necessary. And one of the big reasons is because we don't want this to become normalized. It's sad to say that a lot of people here around here and even in our areas kind of like, well, this is happening, this is going on, ni modo, what else are you going to do? What, folks, that's the way the left wants us to operate. That's the way the left wants us to think, is that this is normalized, that this is a normal thing going on, that actually illegal immigration is just going to continue to go on. We understand, folks, that there are people who are going to be entering the country legally. I served 25 years in the Border Patrol. Frank served 30 years in the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol came around in 1924, and since its inception, illegal aliens have been entering into the United States without permission, without through other than a port of entry. You name it, you go through the laws. But this has been the worst, I believe, in Border Patrol history. What we're seeing here going on in Del Rio sector specifically right now. Del Rio sector is leading the nation in illegal alien activity, and even apprehensions and encounters. Folks, this is a small sector. I mean, we're outnumbering sectors like San Diego and Yuma and even El Paso sector. This is getting really, really ridiculous. And so the sad thing is, folks, is that there are people on both sides of the aisle that are helping this happen, that are encouraging illegal immigration. There's people within the community, the border communities, helping with this illegal immigration, aiding and abetting this illegal immigration. And folks, especially when it comes to the NGOs, these non-governmental organizations, they're a really big like thorn in my side when it comes to illegal immigration. I'll tell you why, folks, because none of these non-governmental organizations, none of these NGOs are helping. They are not helping the illegal alien. Folks, illegal immigration, illegal alien crossing doesn't benefit anyone, especially the illegal alien. Again, they are not migrants. I was talking about it the other day with watching the news. I was talking about it with my wife and some of my family members. Every time we watch the news, they continue to call these illegal aliens migrants. Folks, they're not migrants, and they're not even illegal migrants. They're illegal aliens. And with migrants come over here to work. They come over here to help benefit the nation, help benefit the country, even help benefit themselves, and eventually work towards citizenships. Well, illegal aliens don't do that, folks. They don't work towards, they rarely ever work towards American citizenship. Matter of fact, the majority of their monies and everything that they make go back to the country of origin many times, the majority of the time. And what we see is, illegal aliens crossing over and over again because especially in Mexico and Central America, one of the big reasons is that they go back south, every so often, and then they come back across. But those are generally the Mexicans that do that. But right now, folks, we are not seeing a lot of Mexicans coming across. The ones that are coming across are circumventing the agents, circumventing the port of entries, and are going around where they're not noticed, or they're mostly are gotaways, because the majority of Mexicans are being sent back. And this is a big misconception that a lot of people think that it's only Mexicans that are coming across here, and this is why we're seeing these complaints now in New York City and Washington D.C., where the mayors are coming out and saying, "No, wait a minute, now we have a problem." Right now we have now that they're being dropped off at their front door, and all these illegal aliens that are coming from all these other countries, they don't know what to do. So now they're asking for federal help. The Washington D.C. mayor, a while back asked for National Guard to go in there and help them, and now they're taking away resources and using resources that were used for homeless people, and things like that. And it's kind of like, well, welcome to the show. This is what you wanted. You guys were saying you guys are sanctuary cities. You're here proclaiming that and confessing that you want to help the illegal aliens, and that you want to provide sanctuary for them. And yet all of a sudden it happens, and you start to complain, and you start to ask for help, and you start to blame others, and blame Texas. But sad to say, this is an invasion, folks. This is an invasion. You can call it, crisis, whatever you want. You can say we're helping, people from other countries, but it's not. It's not. Only legal immigration helps people from other countries. And it's a sad thing to say. And I appreciate you all watching and your support. And again, Frank is on his way to San Antonio. He's going to be over there tonight at 6:30 at Blanco Barbecue. Go over there and visit him. He's trying to get into Congress, trying to get elected, and I think it's appropriate that we get Frank in Congress. It's vital that we get Frank in Congress. Right now we have a representative here in District 23, Tony Gonzalez, who has done nothing, folks, but encourage illegal immigration with his open border policies, with his utilization of Laughlin Air Force Base to fly illegal aliens into the country, with his support of NGOs, non-government organizations, and with his support of Endeavors as well, the largest NGO here in this area. Folks, we need to get Frank in Congress. We need to get Tony out. He's worse than a rhino. He's basically a Democrat in disguise. So if you're in this district, please vote for Frank in November. Get him in office, folks. Get a true conservative patriot believer in office, so that we can get somebody in there who's going to fight for you. And the sad thing is, folks, is that right now what we're seeing even within the Republican Party, this, because people, tell me all the time, well, Frank is running for an independent, isn't that going to split the vote, folks? It's not going to split the vote. It's not about party. We need to put a true conservative in there. If you're just voting along party lines, then folks, you really need to reconsider what is happening, because the conservatives here right now are tired. They're tired, folks, of looking at this little civil war that's going on, especially within the Republican Party. There's all this infighting, and I'm not trying to sway anybody to vote Democrat. Please don't get me wrong. Never, ever, ever vote Democrat. Never. And they're the big reasons why they're destroying this country. The reason why this country is being destroyed is because of the Democrats. And folks, look at what's happening now with this so-called tax reduction bill that they had, which is not anything, but folks, which is not going to do anything except increase taxes. And maybe we can talk about that on the next program. But folks, this is ridiculous. But we need to get Frank in there, folks. I know we talk a lot about Tony Gonzalez here on this program. The reason we do is because Frank and I are in this district, in District 23, and we see what is happening in this district that he is in charge of, that he oversees in regards to illegal immigration. And folks, he goes out there and he continues to say that, well, I'm going to fight for Border Patrol. I'm going to help them. However, he goes and he votes for chain migration, and then he continues to support NGOs, and not only that, he voted for red flag laws. And folks, he also betrayed President Trump by voting for the January 6th commission, and he is the one who petitioned the Biden administration to fly illegal aliens out of Laughlin Air Force Base, folks, to use your tax dollars, my tax dollars, to fly illegal aliens out of Del Rio into the rest of the country, and then they haven't dropped off in certain places, where they're going to remain and reside illegally in the United States, folks. They're losing track of all these illegal aliens. I've talked with ICE agents, I've talked with Border Patrol agents. A lot of my sources, folks, continue to tell me that they're losing track of these illegal aliens because once they get to the point of destination, they don't show up to court. They don't report in. They destroy their phones. They throw their phones away that the government is giving them, and then they're just out there, folks. They're out there, and sad to say, the government continues to deny that this is a crisis, that this is an invasion, which, folks, it's terrible. But anyway, my whole point is to get you out there and vote this. If you're not registered, vote. Get registered. Go vote and vote for Frank Lopez this November. Get Tony Gonzalez out wherever you're at. We got to get these rhinos out. We saw what happened with Liz Cheney, right? Which is remarkable, which is incredible. It can happen. 8 out of the 10 candidates that were running against non-Trump. I'm losing my words. All 8 out of 10 Trump-backed candidates were voted in, and 2 retired. But folks, we have to stop looking at just party lines. We have to stop looking at party lines, because right now it's not about Republican, it's not about Democrat, it's about good versus evil. It's about righteousness versus unrighteousness. It's about true conservatism and rhinos and liberals and the left. We see what is happening in our country because of the left. We see what's happening in our country because of the rhinos. One of the biggest obstacles that we have as a Republican, and folks, I'm going to tell you, Frank, he adheres and he supports the Republican platform. Don't think just because he's an independent that he's out there some rogue candidate who's not going to fight for you, who's going to implement his own ideas. Folks, he's out there to fight for the American people, to fight for Texans, to help secure our borders, to help secure our way of life, to support the Constitution, and folks, this is what we need, not only here in Texas, but in the rest of America, because what happens here in Texas, folks, affects America. And so, folks, if it's hard for you to get away from voting Republican, and you're afraid that, we're going to put the Democrat the Democrat opponent in office, folks, you already have a Democrat in there. And I'm not saying that justifies a Democrat getting in there, but folks, you have a Democrat in there already, Tony Gonzalez, and we need a true conservative. This may be the first time a lot of people in this district who generally vote Republican are going to vote for an independent, and we need to do this, folks, because it is not about party lines anymore, folks. I understand about all this, the keep it red, and I understand about, Reagan's 11th commandment, but simply because they have an R next to their name doesn't mean that they're Republican. It could stand for rhino. And Tony Gonzalez is what we have. We like Dan Crenshaw with Cornyn. Not too long ago, Cornyn got booed off the stage in a rally that he was at. Folks, we need to start putting true conservatives and patriots in office like Frank Lopez. But folks, I want to talk about real quick about what's happening over here in Del Rio sector. Actually, in the country right now, in the Biden administration. People, because I get confronted quite a bit. I get asked, why do you continue to talk about these border issues? Why do you continue to talk about the border invasion? I've even heard it from managers, from some supervisors, from people within the Border Patrol folks that, it's been happening. It's been happening all along. We've always had illegal aliens enter into the country, but folks, this is unprecedented. What is happening here right now in our country right now since Biden has taken office, folks. These numbers are incredible, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is insane. If you haven't been keeping track of what is happening here on the border, folks, you need to start paying attention. Nearly 5 million illegal aliens, according to statistics, nearly 5 million illegal aliens have entered into the country since Biden has taken office. This is insane. Since Biden has taken office, illegal aliens, almost 5 million illegal aliens, folks, have entered into the country illegally. And these are the ones that we know about, all right? 5 million, almost 5 million illegal aliens have entered into the country. This is amazing, because if you think about it, if you look at the numbers, let's compare it. If you look at the numbers, this is more than the population of Wyoming, Vermont, D.C., Alaska, and North Dakota combined. There's not even 5 million people in North Dakota, folks. There's not even 5 million people in Vermont, but you got almost 5 states here, right? Combined, more than almost 5 million legal aliens compared to outnumber the population in Wyoming, Vermont, D.C., Alaska, and North Dakota combined. This is insane. And what's also interesting is roughly it's equivalent to the entire population of the country of Ireland. The last article that I read. So, folks, this is a huge number. So we have basically a whole country that has entered. If you put it together, I mean, we have them from about 160 some different countries, right? And it continues to increase and increase. More countries are coming. We hear about the caravans. We see all these people on their way over here, especially to Del Rio sector. But right now, if you put all these people together, it's the equivalent of the entire population of Ireland. This is insane, right? This is insane. And an equivalent to the entire population of Ireland has illegally entered the United States since Biden has taken office. Folks, we're not even at the 2-year mark. We're roughly 18 months into this administration. And this is insane, right? This is insane because when we weren't even at a year, the illegal alien population was unprecedented. And I thought to myself, how can we sustain one more year? And folks, it's getting harder and harder to sustain. We cannot sustain almost 3 more years of the Biden administration, folks. And then you say, well, we got Kamala Harris. Folks, they're not going to let that happen. I hate to say it. I hate to use this kind of language, folks, but she is not all there. She's not all there. Well, neither is Biden. Then you got Pelosi as well, folks. The reason they keep Biden, they want Biden, is to kind of hold off Kamala, right? That's just the Democratic side. And how do we know this? Well, look what's going on right now with all these Democratic candidates that are running for office, right? They're distancing themselves from the Biden from being endorsed by Biden. The same thing happened when Obama during his last tenure in office, right? People started distancing themselves from Obama. Same thing happened with Clinton, right? But it's insane right now, folks, of what is happening in regards to this administration, that the sad reality of the majority of these 5 million that have come into our country, right? The majority of these 5 million that have come into the country, the reality of this, folks, is that the majority of these illegal aliens have been released into the United States. And now many are unaccounted for, according to my sources. And this is on the shoulders of representatives, of congressmen, of politicians like Tony Gonzalez, like Dan Crenshaw, like Cornyn. There's Cuellar, Liz Cheney. On and on and on. Thankfully, Liz Cheney is out, but we need to get Tony Gonzalez out as well, folks. These what he is doing to this country, what he's doing to this state is ridiculous. And I hope and I pray that true conservatives stand up and vote him out and get Frank in there. And continue. We also ask that you continue to pray for Frank, that you continue to pray for his family as well, that he does get elected and we get somebody in there who's going to fight for us. But it's the sad reality, folks, again, that the majority of these illegal aliens that have been entered into the country have been released into the country and are unaccounted for. What happens, folks, is that they get a court date. They get sent to the local NGO. The NGOs then coordinate their transportation, puts them on buses, and then they get transported to wherever they want to go. And there was a report out the other day, an article that I've read, that a lot of these illegal aliens that are ending up in New York City and D.C. Know where they're going. Not necessarily, folks. Some do. Some know that they're going to, and then some, say that they're being tricked, and they may be. But the majority of them get on these buses and they're trying to get dropped off at other places along the way, and they're being accommodated, right? They're just they look at the maps or whatever, and they see that it's one of their points of destination is on the way to New York City or on the way to DC, and they get dropped off along the way. But what's happening once they get there is these other NGOs take them in, or sometimes they just roam around and go to the homeless shelters and then just end up in there. And the sad thing is, folks, a lot of these so-called family units that are ending up in there, a lot of the children are getting abandoned, right? Because many of these children don't belong to these adults that they're traveling with, and so again, so we can only imagine what is happening to the children. And this is what angers me even more, because the majority of these NGOs, not only are they encouraging illegal immigration, not only are they aiding and abetting illegal immigration, folks, but they are also aiding and abetting human sex trafficking, in my opinion. And when I look at these NGOs, folks, and I'm going to tell you, not only are they aiding and abetting illegal immigration, folks, but they are organized smugglers. Like I said, I've been in the Border Patrol. I was in the Border Patrol for 25 years, and Frank for 30 years, and we've looked at these NGOs. We've gone over there. We filmed them. We've sat outside their facilities, and Frank more than I, and we've seen how they operate. Folks, they operate like a smuggling organization. These are the things that they do are things that I used to look for as a border patrol agent in order to go out there and help apprehend smugglers and to help take down smuggling organizations within our borders. Folks, this is ridiculous. And what's interesting, folks, is that as we look at what is happening here, we see that finally that maybe there may be a shift. A lot of people are getting tired of the same old politics. And we're looking at now even I'm not trying to throw the race card or anything like that, but I just read a report last night that a lot of more Latinos than ever are going to the conservative side, are going to vote Republican. But we also have to, if you're Latino, you generally vote Democrat. Culturally, sad to say, many Latinos vote Democrat. I have no idea why, because when we look at most Latinos, the majority of Latinos are conservative, right? Faith, family, faith and family, and is what we look at, right? The majority of them are pro-life, pro-marriage, and so we're seeing a lot of the Latinos go to the conservative side now, but we need to be careful not to put rhinos in office, just like Tony Gonzalez that we have now. And folks, sorry, I was reading some information here, but again, since October. And here's some other things that are happening over here. Since October, right, in Del Rio sector, I'm just going to give you some stats, has encountered more than 200, and this is why I say, this is one of the big reasons why I say that illegal immigration doesn't benefit anyone, especially the illegal alien, right? Because since October, Del Rio sector has encountered more than 200 deceased illegal aliens along the Rio Grande and areas around the sector, like in the ranches, in the brush area, right? When I was in the Border Patrol, we would encounter, deceased illegal aliens in the river. Sometimes they would drown. Sometimes, folks, when I'm not laughing at anything, but sometimes when we would encounter illegal aliens bringing drugs into the country, and we would try to apprehend. They'd run and they'd jump back into the water and try to swim back into Mexico, and we would get the drugs and they would lose their load. They would get taken out by the cartels because they lost the load, and a few days later we would find them deceased in the river. Those same ones who were bringing the drugs over earlier, because they're taken out, and so there's that aspect. There's also the ones who are out there walking in the brush that are left behind by their guides. They're ones that are stuck. They're trapped in semi-tractor trailer trucks that we saw not too long ago in Mexico. Just the other day, Border Patrol helped assisted the Mexican government in apprehending the driver who was bringing over, I think, 120 to 150 illegal aliens inside a tractor trailer. Folks, these these smugglers, these coyotes, they don't care. They don't care, about their own people. They don't care about anybody. They're just there to make money, and they're going to send them through the most treacherous areas. They're gonna leave them behind. They're going to rape them. They're going to rob them. In some cases, even murder them. Steal from them, folks. It's terrible. People think that as Border Patrol agents, we don't have any compassion. We don't have any sympathy. We're not empathetic to the plight of the illegal alien. That's not true, folks. There's many times when I've given food, when I've given a few dollars, when I've tried to help people. The illegal aliens coming across. And I don't like coyotes. I don't like smugglers. Because they don't care about anybody, folks, except themselves and about making making a dollar, and they'll do it at the expense of taking or losing life. And folks, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. And so since October, Del Rio has encountered more than 200 deceased illegal aliens along the Rio Grande and other areas. Under Biden, and this is something that a lot of people may not have read, but under Biden, illegal alien deaths have increased compared to when President Trump was in office. And so people say, well, this happened under Trump's watch. This happened, illegal aliens. The number of illegal aliens increased under Trump. Not necessarily. No, folks, this is unprecedented. I was in the Border Patrol when Trump was president. I can tell you, there were days, folks, when we had zero apprehensions. There were days when we had zero apprehensions, and today, since Biden has been in office, there hasn't been a day. There hasn't been a day, folks, when it's been zero apprehensions. And I can tell you, right now, I'm looking at, let me pull up some stats for the weekend. See if I still got them up here. Look, over the weekend, Del Rio sector has apprehended almost 3,500 illegal aliens and almost 3,000 known gotaways, right? They had 3 deaths and 11 rescues. Folks, there were days under the Trump administration when Trump was president that we had zero apprehensions. I'm going to answer a question here real quick. One is asking if we can get the Border Patrol union to back Frank. Folks, sad to say, the Border Patrol Council, and I think even the local union here, has endorsed Tony Gonzalez. And we're not happy about that. I can tell you a lot of agents aren't happy about that. But for many of you don't know, a lot of times the union doesn't always speak for the agents, right? And so I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to put down the union. I think the union, there's some necessity for them as well to help with agents' rights and things like that. But they've already endorsed Tony Gonzalez, and who knows? But if they can, they'll change their endorsement. But it'd be nice. It'd be nice, but I don't know. But just to let you know that they already endorsed Tony Gonzalez, and sad to say, folks, I think that was the wrong endorsement. Tony Gonzalez has no knowledge of what the Border Patrol really does. He talks out of both sides of his neck. Like I said, he goes and helps. He says over here, I'm going to support the Border Patrol, but then he votes for chain migration. And then he says over here, I'm going to help for Border Patrol agents and their rights and equipment and this and that. But then he goes and he wants to input mega processing centers. And then he says over here, well, I'm for the agents and getting them more equipment, but then he goes and he petitions the Biden administration to fly illegal aliens out of the country, right? And folks, it's I don't know. He talks out of both sides of his neck, and we don't need that type of person in office who comes and he says one thing, but then he does a complete opposite. Matter of fact, the majority of Republicans here in Texas don't even agree with him, and he continues to walk outside, and depart and part from the not only Constitution but the Republican platform. But anyway, folks, more deaths have occurred along the U.S.-Mexican border in the first half of 2022 than in the entire calendar years of 2020, 2018, and 2017 combined. And this is according to Migration's Missing Migrants Project, right? So more deaths have occurred along the U.S.-Mexican border in the first half of 2022. Who's the president in 2022? Well, I don't like to call him a president, but who's in the White House right now? Biden, right? Biden's in the White House. Who was in office in 2018 and 2017, and the better part of 2020? Right up to 2020. Trump, right? Trump was the president, and in my opinion, he still is the president, folks. But so more deaths have occurred along the U.S.-Mexican border in the first half of 2022 than in the entire calendar years of 2020, 2018, and 2017. And so far, in 2022, almost 500 illegal alien deaths have occurred on the southern border. And this is what's interesting, folks. More than 200 of those deaths have come from Del Rio sector. Have happened in Del Rio sector. We are not a large sector. Del Rio sector is not a large sector. It's what's called a medium sector, right? But more than 200 deaths have happened here in Del Rio. Deaths among illegal aliens are up almost 450 compared to Trump's first year in office. And so far, 2021 has been the deadliest year for illegal aliens coming into the United States, and it looks like 2022 is going to continue to surpass that number. And we're seeing that every single day, more and more apprehensions it's becoming more than they were last year and the year before. And yet you have people over here saying that this isn't a crisis, this isn't an invasion. right? And then you have candidates that continue to encourage, or not candidates, but you have congressmen, you have politicians that continue to encourage illegal immigration. And I have to tell you, folks, again, we need to get a true conservative in office. And folks, you need to get out there and you need to vote for Frank Lopez in November. We need to put a true conservative in office. If you're in this district, please get out there and vote for him. And if you're not in this district, encourage others that you may know who are in this district. Help him out. Go to his website. I'm going to put up his website here real quick if I can get some stuff out of the way here. I'm kind of being my own engineer today. So, but folks, let me get over here. Here's his website over here. Here we go. You can go visit him there at frank4cd23.com. You can get to know him. You can get involved and support him, folks. He needs our support. He needs all the help that he can get. And again, he's a true conservative. He is for the people. And folks, I just encourage you to get out there and vote for him and help Frank out. And again, so as we come back to what we're talking about, and then we're going to talk about some more things. I'm going to get off the border here for a little bit, in here in a little bit. But so far in 2022, according to Migration's Missing Migrants Project, and again, they're not migrants, they're illegal aliens. But this is where I got the stats from this illegal alien organization. But so far, they say that 2022 is going to surpass the numbers in 2021, and there is more than a 53% increase in illegal alien deaths compared to 2020 since Biden has taken office. Folks, this is insane. So if you're thinking that illegal immigration is helping the illegal alien, you're wrong. It's never helped the illegal alien. And matter of fact, it doesn't help. It doesn't even benefit our country. And some people will say, well, look. Frank and I have been called all kinds of names in regards to what we've done. There are a lot of other Latino agents as well that have been called, sellouts and, traitor to your people and this and that. And how can you do this? Folks, we're Americans. We're Americans, folks. I love my country. I serve my country. I was in the United States Army. I served in state law enforcement. I served in the Border Patrol for 25 years. Frank, as well, was in the United States Army. He served in the Border Patrol for 30 years. I love this country. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the Declaration of Independence. If I were living in another country, if it were a democratic country, I'd defend it. But folks, this country is being overrun. It is being invaded. We do not know who is coming in here, and this is the problem. Crime is up. It has increased. Law enforcement are not able to do their job. Matter of fact, I was talking to some people not too long ago, and they're telling me that some of their law enforcement contacts in other states and other areas of the country, that a lot of law enforcement agencies are losing people now, and they're they want to join the Border Patrol, because of the recruitment videos. So they're somewhat being affected. But then if they get over here into the Border Patrol, they see what's happening, that they're not able to enforce the laws. A lot of them want to go back and to their job. But a lot of the officers that they're talking to, and I've talked to, my wife and I, we were in New York City in June, I believe, and was talking to some people over there, and they were expressing to us that law enforcement is afraid of doing their job now, right? Not they're because they don't have any backup. Matter of fact, we were talking to one Uber driver, and he was telling me that he's more afraid. He was more afraid than ever now, because he says a lot of Uber drivers are getting robbed, they're getting mugged, and nobody responds. Nobody responds to these muggings or robberies anymore, right? And so they're more afraid than ever. Small businesses afraid to open up their doors because they're getting robbed. Same things we see. Same thing happening in California, and these Democratic-run cities, folks. These are basically Democratic-run states, and we see this an increase in illegal activity, an increase in law breaking, and folks, it's sad. But real quick, some more stats in regards to the border, then we'll move on. But in addition, Border Patrol reports, and this is what's interesting. Border Patrol reports that more than 800,000 illegal aliens are known gotaways. And this is the word that we use, known gotaways, right? And why? Because there are gotaways that we don't know about, right? So, and to tell you the truth, this 800,000 gotaways is a very conservative number because these are known gotaways. These are known 800,000 gotaways, and these, which mean gotaways are ones who evaded apprehension, right? And so known gotaways are gotaways that were either encountered and then they ran away, they or whatever. We couldn't find them. Border Patrol couldn't find them. They were tracked. They saw their footprints, their sign, and they counted them and said, okay, well, this many were in this group, but we can't find them. Those are gotaways. Or they were seen on cameras, right? Nobody was there to respond, right? But the number of gotaways could, in my opinion, and if there's any agents watching as well, or retired agents, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't agree with it, fine. But the number of gotaways, in my opinion, could easily be over 1 million. Because for every illegal alien that enters, conservatively speaking, 1 to 5 get away. And the ones that we don't know about continues to increase. So apparently, Border Patrol, and now apparently because to address to add fuel to the fire, this sector, from what I read, has recently suspended routine patrols to address why? Because of overcrowding in these facilities now that we have. Right, to address the illegal alien problem, they built these facilities. Tony Gonzalez and Cuellar, I believe, helped put these facilities here at your cost, right, the taxpayers' expense. But now, because of overcrowding, Border Patrol is only going to respond to emergency situations or distress calls. So routine patrol has been suspended. And from what I read, and maybe they put some more agents out there, but right now they've taken a lot of agents off the line to deal with the processing to help release these illegal aliens into the country. Some are getting deported, maybe if they but. And so, folks, and I just got a comment. What about the bailouts? Yeah, this is a huge issue as well. The bailouts are destroying property. We just had a fatality. I think last week, where a head-on collision happened down the road, and driver and some passengers were killed. My family and I, we used to like to take drives around the local area, around the Del Rio area. But now, because of these car chases and these bailouts, you have to be very, very vigilant now, and which is sad. Because you don't know when these car chases are going to happen, and so. And great, yeah. I just got an agreement here that 1 to 5, 1 to 3 for every illegal alien that's apprehended, 1 to 3, 1 to 5 get away, folks. It's insane. So if we're saying that 800,000 got away, you can multiply that by 5, right? And so now because of this, we see this overcrowding. We see all these illegal aliens coming in, and now the problems. This issue is called problems. For the illegal aliens. What do I mean by that? Well, now that because agents or Border Patrol agents aren't going to be responding or not going to be doing routine patrols, the illegal aliens are now complaining, right? Why? Because when they come over, when they cross illegally, they have to go and look for somebody to turn themselves into, right? And so they have to walk around a little bit longer. They got to, folks, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But now they're having problems of looking for someone to surrender themselves to. So I don't even know why the statistics are calling even calling these apprehensions, folks. They're not apprehensions. You don't apprehend people that surrender to you. So, folks, anyway. I'm going to keep my sarcasm to a minimum, but folks, this is why we need somebody like Frank Lopez in office, a true conservative, a believer, right? Who loves his country, who served his country, who wants to defend the Constitution. Folks, we need him in office. Get Rhino Tony Gonzalez out. Put Frank in office. And so I want to jump over to something else here real quick that's really bothering me. Of course, there's a lot that's bothering me in this country, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't bother me. And what doesn't bother me is knowing for certain that the Messiah is coming back. This I truly believe, and this is what my hope is in, folks. And so I'm not saying that may he come today, but even so, because as the scripture says, even so, Lord, come, right? But something that's bothering me that I think it should concern every American citizen. Again, most of you heard that the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago, right, Trump's residence. And so why does this bother me? Because it affects every American citizen, right? I believe it's politically motivated. I believe they weaponized the FBI against President Trump. And if they can do that to him, folks, then they're going to do it to the average citizen, right? And so the FBI, and what's sad is that even releasing any information about the raid, about any affidavits, had to take a federal judge, right, to do it, right? So we just recently, a federal judge ruled that details of the FBI's raid on President Trump's residence may be revealed, right? If you were you or me, or I'm sorry, if you were a Democrat or a politician, folks, it wouldn't happen, excuse me, right? A magistrate judge actually had to get involved, right? And will unseal further Justice Department records related to the FBI's unprecedented raid of President Trump's residence, right? And so, to me, this angers me because this affects every American citizen. If you don't think it doesn't, it does, right? Just recently, and you may think it's small compared to the FBI raid in Mar-a-Lago against President Trump, but just a couple of weeks ago, Frank and I got suspended. Our program got suspended from YouTube. We're back on, but I had to send a couple of emails and an appeal. Not that I'm not crazy about being on YouTube, because we're also on Rumble. We're trying to get on some other platforms as well, and so, but I believe it was unfair. That they suspended us because they went back to our earliest programs in regards to the 2020 election, and because of the information, I don't even know what information they were looking at, but because we disagreed with what had happened, they removed those 2 episodes and suspended us, and warned us that we're going to be suspended indefinitely if we continued promoting such content. Folks, we don't show any graphic content on here. We refrain from vulgar language. We try to be as respectful as possible. Sometimes there's some sarcasm, but all we do is present the facts and sometimes our opinions, right, in regards to what is happening. And for that, we were suspended. And so this folks, is censorship. It is, we are, living in times, folks, where tyranny is trying to rule. And so it's important, folks. Again, it's important that we stand up for our rights and put people in office. But, after the raid, what's interesting, though, is after the raid, and this goes on both sides, after the raid, a new poll suggests that the FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago has eroded trust in the FBI. They haven't been trusted for a long time. Remember, Obama tried to weaponize them, too. It seems like every time a Democrat gets into office, they try to weaponize federal agencies. Clinton did it with FEMA, right? Obama did it with the FBI and the IRS against conservatives. Remember, we had conservatives that actually had to sue under Obama because the IRS was going after them and targeting conservatives, small business owners, Christian conservatives, and it was basically proven, right, in court. Many of them won their cases. A new Rasmussen poll actually reports that approximately 44% of surveyed Americans say that the raid negatively impacted their trust in federal law enforcement agencies. So we don't want to get to the point, folks, where we're living in this regime, this Fourth Reich regime, folks, where we're afraid to say anything. That's what they want. That's what the left wants. And I've never truly been a conspiracy theorist, right? I've never gone and come up with these wild conspiracies. But folks, when you're seeing it happen, when it happens to you, when when they try to silence you, when they suspend you, when Frank and I were followed not too long ago. I don't know if you saw that video. He posted it on his page. We went and filmed at one of the local NGOs. The buses loading up and getting some information on where they were going and what was happening. And as we left, we were followed by an unmarked vehicle. We don't know what federal agency it was, but they were trying to intimidate us. And we're former law enforcement. We know when we're being followed. I used to follow people, right? When we were trying to figure out if they were breaking the law or not. But this wasn't about figuring out if we were breaking the law because we were well within our rights. But an unmarked unit followed us and tried to intimidate us. it was amazing. I never thought that in this day and age, in this little community of less than 30,000 people, that this would happen, but it happened. So, folks, I'm having a hard time knowing who to trust. I trust my brothers and sisters in Green because I know that they're doing their job. The Mean Green Border Patrol. I love them. I pray for them. And they need your prayers as well. And then we understand that Obama. Remember, Obama had weaponized the IRS as well. Now Biden is weaponizing the IRS again, right, with his new reduction bill or increased bill or whatever you want to call it. And now they're wanting to arm IRS agents, disarm Americans. Right, with all these buyback, guns. These buyback gun programs. I don't know if you saw one the other day. I believe it was in Houston or Dallas. One of them, I can't remember. I was going to play the video and I forgot. But where this guy he printed ghost guns with his 3D printer, right, and went and turned them in during the buyback program. And look it up. And they paid him like $62 a gun. Right, and I think he turned in like over 300 guns, right, that he printed from his 3D printer, right, and he was doing it as not as a joke, but to send a message that, look, you're not going to be able to take guns off the street. What kind of criminal is going to come and turn in their guns? Nobody. No criminals are going to come and turn in their guns, folks. It's basically citizens who the legal citizens and citizens who want to uphold the law, right? But anyway, so now we have the Biden administration wanting to arm the IRS and disarm Americans. And this new bill, folks, again, you've heard it before, 87,000 IRS agents will be hired. 87,000 IRS agents. Why do we need 87,000 IRS agents? When Trump was in office, he was trying to reduce the number of IRS agents. He was trying to actually reduce the whole IRS. Right? Because who are they going to go after? Folks, there's less than 1,000. There's less than 1,000 billionaires in America. And the Biden administration says that they're going to go after the rich or those who make over $400,000 a year. Ridiculous. Why? Because there's less than 1,000 billionaires in the United States, and even the millionaires, folks. Don't you think that they have tax lawyers? Don't you think that they have people who know how to find the loopholes? Right? Why do you think these politicians are so rich? Why do you think the Democrats are so rich? It's amazing to me, folks, that you got these people in office like Biden and Pelosi, and that are making millions and millions of dollars that went into office and are coming out richer, right? Like the Clintons. And yet they're telling people that they're out for our best benefit. That is ridiculous, folks. It is ridiculous. They're not out for our benefit. When Trump was in office, folks, he didn't take one paycheck. That's incredible to me. Matter of fact, he's the only president in recent history, folks, that actually lost money when he came out of office. The Clintons increased their riches. Matter of fact, it's amazing to me, even with this Mar-a-Lago raid, they went in looking for supposed documents that Clinton had, that Trump had, right? But yet the Clintons took off with furniture. They actually took furniture from the White House and took it to their home. And then you have Hillary, right? 33,000 plus emails that she destroyed, that she deleted. She actually had servers wiped out, and she crushed phones and burnt servers, and yet there was no raid on their house. And then we got, don't get me started on Hunter Biden. We only got a few minutes left on this. But folks, I just want to show you real quick, because somebody mentioned here in the comments, that they are arming the IRS agents, and this is what's pretty interesting, folks. If I can pull it up here. I don't know if you saw this, but there is I just had it, and here it is. A job announcement, right, that came out not too long ago, right? They since deleted it apparently, but these are the major duties, right, that they are asking for. And one of them, we got it highlighted in red here, if you can see it. Carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary. What? Carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary? This is what it's going to take to be an IRS agent? It says major duty, not a secondary duty, but a major duty. And then, of course, be willing and able to participate in arrest, execution of search warrants, and other dangerous assignments. Dangerous assignments? How does auditing, unless you're auditing the mafia or something like that, right? But folks, this is talking about average citizens. You and me, right? Be willing to be willing to use deadly force if necessary. This is insane. And then to top it off, they were saying that, I don't know if you saw it, but they came out with this video. There's this video. It's a recruitment video, and they're actually training. Right? They're training on how to arrest people, how to carry firearms. But Reuters came out and tried to fact check this, and they said that, I'm going to put this up here real quick. It says the IRS is not hiring thousands of armed agents, and job ads show opening for specialized unit. Right? They say that the IRS is not hiring thousands of armed agents. This they are. They are hiring thousands of armed agents. And we got the video. I got the video to show you, to prove to you. I'm just going to cue it up here real quick. I can get my volume set. But and of course, this is some of the most ridiculous training that I've ever seen in my life. So let me cue this up for you. There we go.
Police federal agent.
Freeze. Put your hands up.
Put your hands up.
Got an arrest for you.
Where's that hands up? Put your hands up and stop moving.
What are you looking for?
Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
What are you looking for?
Look for Ashton Campbell.
Where's that?
No, sir. Stay put. That is not Ashton Campbell.
Oh, that man.
Do you have any weapons on you? Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
I'm not saying nothing.
Sir, do you have any weapons on you?
I don't even know who you guys are. I'm not saying a thing.
Sir, I'm an
not saying a
IRS
thing.
special agent. Do you have any weapons on you?
I'm not saying a thing.
All right, please
You
get
do
on.
what you gotta do. I'm not saying
Turn
anything.
around.
Hands up, did you have any
Hands
weapons?
up.
I have a gun. Yeah, I have a permit. It's
Slowly
legal.
behind your back.
Can we take your weapon, please?
Well, if you're going to ask me, I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Spread your
I'm
legs.
getting arrested.
All right, folks, this is one of the most ridiculous videos that I've ever seen, and Reuters comes out and tries to fact check this. Right? They actually put out, or they didn't try to fact check. They said that IRS is not hiring thousands of armed agents, folks. This is the recruitment video, right? Of IRS agents, so-called IRS agents in training, with practicing and training for arrest procedures, weapons pointed, identifying themselves as IRS agents, wearing police vests. Right, going after Joe Public, you and I, folks. If they were going after billionaires, millionaires, you think that they would be able to raid a household like that? I mean, they did. I know they did it. The FBI did it to Trump, but IRS agents? Are you kidding me? Now they're going to have specialized like SWAT units or tactical units now for what? In all my years, folks, and I've never heard of anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. I like when I was, like I said, I was in the Army in the 80s, late 80s. I was in Germany when the Berlin Wall came down, and I saw people fleeing, East Germany because they thought the wall was going to come back up. So when the wall came down, many people just fled. They just ran away from East Germany because they thought communism and socialism was going to come back. And yet yet we have people in our country, in our nation, embracing communism, embracing socialism, embracing ideologies like arming the IRS. Against Joe Public, against you and I. You're right, folks. They're not going to be used. And I don't care what anybody says. You don't hire 87,000 agents to go after millionaires, right? And people who make over $400,000 a year. You hire 87,000 IRS agents and arm them to go after people like you and me. Matter of fact, it even says in their bill, in this tax reduction bill, right, that they're going to investigate and even monitor. I took down the lingo here, the words here, the bill. I had it up the other day, but they even had in their bill there, folks, that they're going to investigate and monitor, digitally monitor citizens, you and I. They're going to want to stick their hands into our bank accounts. They're going to stick their hands into our retirement, our property, you name it. What for? What? To enrich themselves, to disarm us, and to arm governments, folks. I'm not trying to start any type of advocate for any type of violence, but folks, something needs to be done. You have politicians, in office right now that are supposedly conservative, that are supposedly defenders of the Constitution, and they're silent. We saw what happened with with Liz Cheney, with politicians like Liz Cheney, who got booted out right of Wyoming, and we saw a lot of these Trump-backed, Trump's endorsed candidates get voted in, right? Now we hear I read yesterday that finally Fauci is going to be retiring and leaving in December. All I can do is praise the Lord for that. One of the biggest perpetrators of false information ever in the history of the United States, in my opinion, a perpetrator of illegal laws. And folks, he's finally retiring, but is he retiring for whose benefit? For his benefit, or because he's running scared? Right? There's rumors that he's retiring because he's afraid of the conservatives taking over the Congress in November, and they're going to boot him out anyway. So he might as well get out while he still has his monies, right? We see antics like Pelosi going over to Taiwan and basically in the face of China after she was warned, and she took her husband with her. I mean her son with her. And apparently her son has business ties in Taiwan. We can talk about more of this in the next program. Hunter, the Bidens have, right before the war in Ukraine broke out, the Bidens and everybody else that had interest. Even Tony Gonzalez visited the Ukraine. Folks, I'm not over here trying to spew all these kinds of conspiracies, but when you're seeing stuff like this happen, you put two and two together, and which sadly, a lot of people can't even do it anymore today. I was watching a lot of these videos, people going out there and asking people to do simple math, and they can't do it. I was going to play them, but just to see the degradation of what's happening in our nation as far as education goes. But we look at the raid on Trump, on Mar-a-Lago, right? He criticized management, SESs, who are in charge of federal government agencies, including the FBI. Next, his home is raided, right? Melania's closet is trashed, right? And God only knows what else they're trying to do against President Trump, politically motivated. Biden administration or Biden himself is silent on it. He probably doesn't even know what happened. He probably signed the order and then he probably forgot, right, that anything happened. He probably has no idea what's happening, and he doesn't have any idea what's happening. He's not the one who's in charge. But folks, all this to say that we need to make our voices heard. We need to stand up, put people in office, look around you. In law enforcement, we have a way we do things. We think a certain way. Sometimes it's, our humor is not the greatest. A lot of times, sometimes my wife has to warn people about my humor, because it is a dark humor sometimes. But I would always tell my children, and I was even tell law enforcement agents that I was training, right? Be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that your 6 is covered behind you, right? It means behind you, right? Always be aware of your surroundings. What is happening? That's the only way you're gonna be able to remain protected. Always be aware of where you're at, what is happening around you. Sometimes we get caught up in some of the small things while the big things are happening, and we miss it. And this is what the left wants to do. They want to distract us with all these little things, which may add up to bigger things. But the reality is we can no longer remain distracted. We can no longer remain silent. Folks, we need to put people like Frank Lopez in office. We need to vote for true conservatives. If you're a Republican, and I voted Republican, ever since I served under Reagan, right? I used to vote Democrat, before then, but then my ideology in the military wasn't working. My liberal leftist ideology when I joined the military wasn't working. I used to identify as Democrat. I don't really identify as Republican. I identify as a conservative, a believer, a constitutionalist, and for me, it's not about party lines. It's about putting the right person in office. I vote my conscience, and I vote what I believe the Word of God, what is supported by the Word of God as well. I vote for pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-Israel candidates, right? I don't vote with my pocketbook. Folks, I encourage you to do the same thing. Folks, we need righteousness in office. We need someone with righteous indignation. The Bible tells us it's okay to be angry, but don't sin. That's righteous indignation, meaning that you will do something for what is right because your anger about other things has compelled you to do so. But it has to be done righteously. And I believe that Frank will act righteously. I believe that he will serve righteously. He has my full support, and I encourage you to support people like him wherever you're at as well. Vet your candidate. Look at your candidate. Make sure, folks, that they are doing the right thing. Look at their voting record. Look at what they've done. Look where they came from. The first red flag for me, Antonio Gonzalez, I didn't even know the guy. The first red flag for me was that he was endorsed by Will Hurd, right? If Will Hurd endorses anybody, we shouldn't have voted for the guy, but people did, right? He jumped from one district to another. He abandoned his people that came over here because he saw a better opportunity for him to get into office and to enrich himself. Folks, we need to put people like Frank in office. We need to do the right thing. Stand up, make your voice heard. What's awesome is I see a lot more people putting videos online on Facebook and other platforms of what is happening here in this area. And I encourage you, continue to keep this border invasion in people's faces, because if you don't, it's going to become normalized. One of the worst things that happened in history was the Holocaust, right? In Nazi Germany, you had Hitler, who started normalizing things, and people began to accept it. Even the Jews, and this is why many of the Jews, were caught off guard and in a disbelief when they were ripped from their homes, and things were taken from them, and they were put in concentration camps, because society started changing slowly, and things started becoming normal and accepted. And you may think, well, why are you comparing this government with Nazi Germany? Because the things that are doing, folks, are the same things that the Nazis did, same things that the communists did, same things that the socialists did. They start normalizing. They start changing society slowly. And this government, this administration, is even overtly doing things now. And it's being accepted as, oh, well. Or as like we like to say here, ni modo. Ni modo. It happens. Folks, it shouldn't be happening like this. This is America. This is America. We are still a beacon of hope to the rest of the world. These are why our borders are being flooded, right? We are still a beacon of hope to the rest of the world. No one else is trying to enter into other countries illegally like they are here. I don't see anybody. When Trump got in office, there were a few ladies on television that said they were going to move to another country. I wish they had, but they didn't. You may know who I'm talking about. But anyway, folks, the whole point of this is that we need to trust first in God. Always put your trust in God. Believe in the Messiah. Know that he's going to return soon. Know that he's the only way to salvation. That even with all this happening, he's above the flood. He's above the flood. He knows the end from the beginning. But while we are here, we need to preserve our way of life, defend the Constitution, and as the founding father said, we have the right to defend ourselves, the right to bear arms. Folks, we need to continue to defend this great nation at all costs. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. Again, Frank is out of town. He's on his way to San Antonio. He's going to be at Blanco Barbecue tonight at 6:30 p.m. If you're in the area, please go see him, go meet him, go encourage him, go talk with him, go support him. He's doing a good thing. And again, it's on. I don't have the address here with me, but it's on Blanco Road. This is called Blanco Barbecue. If you're in San Antonio, look it up on Google or Yelp and get the address. But he's going to be there at 6:30 p.m. Go to our Facebook page. You'll see the announcement and the invitation as well. Go to his website, frank4cd23.com. Frank4, the number 4, cd23.com. Let me just put it up here real quick, and get to know him. Vote for him. Folks, you can even go to our website as well, tacoboutitlive.com. If you have any questions, get a hold of us. You can email us. Again, hopefully, God willing, we'll be here next Tuesday, 8 a.m. Taco Tuesday. And hopefully Frank will be here as well. Folks, thank you for joining me here this morning. I truly, truly appreciate it. You guys mean so much to us. And we just truly appreciate your support. And I just want to say may the Lord bless you and keep you all, and may we continue to fight the good fight as well. With that being said, I got to set up my outro here. But folks, again, email us, call us if you like. I think our number is on there as well. But we need your support. Frank needs your support, and this country also needs to be defended, and the Constitution needs to be upheld. And again, always remember that the Lord is with us. And so we say, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless Texas.